Now that was funny. That was funny. I'm still working on the tax project. And it turns out it was not due at the end of the day. It was due in class. Funny. Anyways, I will still do the project, obviously. I'm not going to get a 0 on it. So, how far have I gotten in the project? Stop. I've basically stopped. Part of the way through, most of the way through this depreciation problem. And then we have donations, we have investments, we have more investments, we have donations, investments, and that's it. So we only have 2 major things to deal with left in this sheet. Well, more like 3, because we still have to talk about, we have to still take into account the thingamajigs. We still have to take into account the prepayments, the tax prepayments. So that's like one major thing there. We're almost done with this part. We have this part and we have this part, and that's pretty much it. So, and also, were his check numbers correct? He obviously didn't double check his check numbers. So, I'm never going to know whether they were in fact correct. Like a couple of the teams got slightly different numbers than he did. Like when he was asking, did your numbers line up with the check numbers? And a couple, and someone was like, mostly. So clearly they didn't. There's only 3 check numbers. But maybe what happened was they were off by like a fraction of, or they were probably off by a little bit. Like, stop. But how far have I gotten so far? So far, I actually have dealt with Schedule C, and I'm almost done with Schedule E. Out of all of these schedules, I've completed only almost 2 of them, and I have to complete 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So almost 2 out of 8. And if you're generous and say you're 2 out of 8, I'm only 1/4 of the way done so far. It took me 3 hours to do 1/4 of the project. That's awesome. Oh my goodness. Although a few schedules might be easier than others. Stop. Anyways, where is Schedule E? I need to open it in Adobe Acrobat. I had to literally download and install Adobe Acrobat. Although I didn't technically have to do it, I could have done it by hand. But I thought it would be easier to do it with the computer. I don't know, wait, why would it be easier to do it with the computer? I'm not sure, actually. Maybe I should have just done it by hand. May have been easier to do it by hand, now that I think about it. Crap. Oh well. Dang, man. Should I just do the rest of it by hand? Actually, you know what? It's still easier to do it on the computer, because if I need to change any of the numbers, then I don't have to like scratch it out and like, I don't know. Because if I want to change anything, then I can just easily change it on the computer rather than having like scratch out the number and replace it. Although that's not that hard either. Dang it. Stop. So what are we trying to do here? We're trying to calculate depreciation for his rental property, and we have almost completely done it. And I actually asked him a couple of questions about that part after class. My question was, does the 355 include land or no? And he said no. So 355 minus 65 is the cost of the townhouse, which I calculated already. So the other question was, well, how are you supposed to calculate depreciation if it doesn't tell you the month it was bought in? And he says it doesn't matter the month because after year 1, it literally doesn't matter what month it was bought in. It's the same for every month. Although, is it though? Because when I looked at the schedule, it appeared not to be the same for every month. But I'll double check, I guess. Like when I looked at it, I thought I would have noticed that if it was the same for every month after year 1. But it didn't appear to be, so I'm going to just double check that. But anyways, I know how to do it. It's just the cost divided by 27.5. But I'm just going to double check with the table, just to be sure. Stop. And the table is in Chapter 10. And I guess the reason it took me so long to do this stuff is because I had so many things I wasn't sure about and I had to look it up. Like, I keep having to look up instructions on the IRS website on different things. But anyways. So what we're going to do is look at the table and note whether or not we have different numbers for each thing. And I guess I was an idiot and didn't notice that all these numbers are the same. They're different for year 1, but for years 2 through 9, they're all the same. So that's good to know. So it's in year 5. All the numbers are the same for every month, so it doesn't matter. Every single one is the same. So you can just use one of these numbers, 3 point blah 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 percent. So it's the percent. It's going to be 3.636%. And it turns out I'm going to have to do this. And it should end up being this. Hold on a sec. I'll put the depreciable life. It's not like it matters because I already know. Just to be complete, I guess. But it's not even. This isn't even going to be turned in. So why do I even do that? Just to be sure, I guess. I don't know. Stop. I looked at residential rental property mid-month convention straight line 27.5 years. So we have equals this times this. I'm going to do this divided by this just to see if we get the same answer. It's basically the same answer. It's pretty much almost the same. So close enough. And in these cases, actually, I probably want to look at more decimals because, yeah, it looks like this is enough decimals. And so we have calculated all of our depreciation. We have calculated. So the only thing that we need to put on the tax form is the total depreciation for everything. That's like, there's going to be nothing else here, right? So all I have to do is put the total amount of depreciation. So we're going to put total here and equals sum of these. So hopefully I did all that stuff correctly, and looks like getting a number that is around 12,178.52. Stop. Townhouse depreciation for 1 year is 10,000. The refrigerator is 590. Washer and dryer is 644, and furniture 400. So we are going to have 12,178.52 for depreciation. 12,178.52. 12,178.52. And I'm going to do Control S. Did that save it? It better have saved it. I'm going to now open it in another tab just to see, because it's being weird sometimes when I try to edit it and it doesn't show up as a change. Hurry up. It shouldn't even take this long to load. It's not online. Oh, come on. It didn't even... Really? Gotta be kidding me. Save. Save it. Gotta be kidding me. Save. Of course. I love it when sometimes when you save it, it doesn't... Now it should be saved. I know. I feel uncomfortable whenever I have to do that, but I don't know why it does that. Sometimes, as other times, it just saves it automatically and there's nothing else to deal with. Utilities. Wait a minute. Are there any utilities? You would think there would be some utilities here, but I didn't see any utilities. I don't know why he didn't include utilities. Weird. Right. So we have real estate taxes. Yeah, I have no idea why there's no utility fee or utility expenses here, but okay then. So we now have completed all of the expenses for the rental property. Just imagine if he didn't want us to include home association fees. Anyways, we will add up the total expenses. Time to use our phone calculator, and dang it, now I can't check my phone. Ugh. $16,200, $1,520, $13,500, $1,400, $7,700, $12,178.52, and $2,400. I will now double check. Uh-oh, $1,600 is not included in expenses. Crap. Okay, so we have 1,520, we have 13,500, we have 1,400, 7,700, 1,278.52, and 2,400. So our total expenses for the rental property are way, way more than the rents received. Are you kidding me? How did that even happen? It's probably because of depreciation, because it has positive cash flows, but it has so much depreciation that it actually cancels out, and there's way more expenses than there are rents received. If you didn't have those depreciations expenses, then that wouldn't have happened. Anyways, we end up with 38,698.52 save. I just saved. It should have saved it. You better have saved my work. Like, why is this being done? Really? Oh my gosh, why? Man, dude. Like, okay, fine. I'm just gonna... whatever, fine, I'll save it again, jeez. I'm just gonna save it after every important thing I do. That's fine. But sometimes you don't have to. Sometimes you don't have to, like, save over the old file. Sometimes it just automatically saves it. I don't get it. Okay, subtract line 20 from line 3 and or oh great, now I have to read the instructions to see if I have to fill out that other form. I hate how everything is complicated when you have a loss. So apparently if you have a loss, you're going to put it in a parenthesis, which is going to be 22,498.52. I mean, if I'm doing this correctly, that's a huge loss. That's way more than the total depreciation. That's fine. Now I'm going to click File, Save. Nothing! What is wrong with this thing? Fine, whatever. I'll save it when I'm done, completely done. I'm going to read the instructions for Form Schedule E, rather. And I'm going to look at the instructions for line 21. If you have amounts for which you are not at risk, so you must complete the form if you have a loss from an activity carried on as a trade or business or for the production of income and amounts in the activity for which you are not at risk. Oh, come on, Professor. You're making us do extra forms. Oh, come on. Form 8582. Like, come on, Professor. You're making us do all this extra stuff that we never had to do. Where's the actual form? I can't even find the form. Are you kidding me? Where's the actual form? Like, I can't even find it. Like, why do I even need to do this? Passive activity loss. And it doesn't even specify if it's active participation. I'm assuming it's passive. Well, I'm not completing this. I'm just going to look at whatever the passive loss limitation is. Dang it. This is fun. Why do you have... Oh, yeah. There's no way I can just include this whole thing in the deductible loss. Like, where even is the limitation on this thing? There's only one number to take into consideration for that entire form. It's 22, 498, 58, 52. All other passive activities. Okay, so combine lines 1D and 2D. So this one would be negative 22,000. And what is 2D? 2D is 0. There's no other passive activities. Because a passive activity, an investment is not a passive activity, technically. So, if you combine this and this, you're going to get negative 22,000. Okay, so if line 3 is a loss, and okay, if line 1D is a loss, go to part 2. So it looks like we're going to part 2. Dang it. Yeah, but what if it's not? Why would you do part 2 if... This total is still negative 22,000. Wait. No, this total here is 0. Because... Crap, what is part... 9 and 10 are added. Yeah, but what on earth? How come... What if part 2 doesn't even apply to you? That doesn't make any sense. What is the smaller of this loss and... Well, they're both the same because there's only one activity. I'm just gonna have to look this up. Like, how much loss can you claim? Oh, I think it's like 25,000, isn't it? I think the only limitation is that you're only allowed to include $25,000 of loss. So let's see. I need to find wherever that is. There's wherever it talks about the limit on the amount of rental property loss you can include as a deduction. So I guess that's going to be in Chapter 6. And the deduction from rental properties loss, is it a 4 AGI deduction? I can't remember. Rental property is technically a business activity. Rental, here we go. What's the limitation? Give me the limitation, dude. How? How is there not a limitation on here? Oh, it's in chapters. The investment chapter? We have a bunch of limitations here. So I'm assuming the rental thing is a passive loss. Now we have to look for a rental. So I'm assuming it's passive. I mean, the rental activity is passive, isn't it? It says participants in rental activities are deemed to be passive. Income and loss categories. Where's the part about rental? Here. There's some kind of exception to the rule. Okay, but he's not an active participant. I'm pretty sure must own at least 10% of the property, participate in the process of making management decisions, such as approving new tenants, deciding on rental terms, and approving repairs and capital expenditures. Yeah, but the stinking assignment doesn't specify that. It doesn't specify that at all. It just says he owns the property. He bought a few different appliances for the rental property, but does that count as active participation? Oh, fun. Don't they have a limitation? Where's the limitation, though? Like, this is the exception to the rule, but what's the rule? It says it cannot be used to offset non-passive types of income. Does that mean that you cannot claim a single bit of loss at all whatsoever most of the time? Or should we just go with the $25,000 limit? Phased out for every dollar that the taxpayer's adjusted gross income exceeds $100,000. I think I'm just going to go with all this stuff here. The $25,000 minimum maximum exception or whatever. So So I believe that's what this form is about. If you have AGI, enter modified adjusted gross income. How are you supposed to calculate modified adjusted gross income if you don't even know what amount of your rental loss is allowed to be deducted? Okay, so the rental loss is going to be included. I mean, the full $22,000 is going to be included as a loss in your income statement, but the amount that's deductible is different than the amount that is... I don't even know. You take 150, enter modified adjusted gross income. Hey, wait a minute. I know what modified adjusted gross income is, because he gave us the check number for that. But I'm not going to do it just yet. I'll do this form later once I've gotten modified adjusted gross income calculated, because I still haven't calculated that yet. So I mean, this would be pretty straightforward. Like, yeah, I'm assuming he has active participation. It didn't even say whether he did or not, but we're just assuming he did. Because if he didn't, I think this would just simply be 0. 0 would be deductible. Dang it. So I think that's all we can do for this form. Well, actually, there's more. 23. Total. Is it just going down to, is it just saying copy line 3? Oh, I see what it's saying. It's saying you have to add all of your rental properties together. Crap. Well, line 3 is going to be 16,200. All amounts reported on line 4, nothing. Line 12. So line 12. Why do they have that there? That's weird. Total of all amounts reported on line 12 is mortgage interest paid to banks. I don't even know why that's something you need to put. Total of all amounts reported on line 18. That's going to be depreciation expense. 178.52. So maybe that's because it's some kind of deductible thingy. That's fine. Total of all amounts reported on line 20 is going to be 38,698.52. Income. Add positive amounts shown on 21. There's no positive amounts on 21. Losses, add royalty losses from line 21. This is the part I'm confused about, because how come... Why are you supposed to add 21 and 22? That doesn't make any sense. Because 21 is the total loss and 22 is the deductible loss. I'm just going to look at the instructions for 22. If the amount on line 21 is from royalty properties, well, guess what? It's not. 21 total is not from royalty properties. Wait, hold on a sec. It says, if you have amounts for which you are not at risk, use Form 6198 to determine the amount of your deductible loss. Enter that amount in the appropriate column of Schedule E. So it turns out line 22 is completely irrelevant. Wait, I'm so confused. Oh, okay, now I have to look up something. Stop. Stop! That was funny. Oh, I already downloaded it. This is useless. Where on earth is Schedule E anyways? Oh look, passive activity. Oh, that's funny. Look at this. For this particular one, he didn't even... Dude, look at all this stuff, dude. They basically all this, the entire thing was just to say that their allowed loss was the full amount of 255. But I have to. Where's Schedule E? So according to, so on this particular example, they had 200. What? That was it? What is this? Their only expense was depreciation, so they had depreciation expense of $255. And then he didn't type anything else for these two. Why did he type nothing here? Is that because none of it is allowed? Is 255 not allowed to be included? This makes no sense. He should have included that. Why on earth would you not include this one? $41. What the heck? It didn't even include... Look at this. Wait. He put this out of order, clearly. Wait a minute. Where the heck is the rest of the form? You've got to be kidding me. Where's the rest of Schedule E? It didn't even include the full form. It only included the first page. Schedule 1, line 5. Nope, it says nothing. There's nothing here. I don't even know if you're supposed to include that. Dang it. According to this particular one, you don't include any. But that's that example. I don't know. Oh my. Should I just assume there's nothing included there? That didn't help me at all. Okay, I'm gonna go to something else. No. You know, that was funny. And also, I don't have to do it absolutely perfectly. I just have to do it. As long as I do most of it right, it's fine. And also, he gave us check numbers, so if I get something wrong, I can clearly look and see what I did wrong. But I'm somehow skeptical of those check numbers because he said he only did it once and he didn't double check them. And he never actually double checked the check numbers as far as I know. And it's funny because a few of the students said their numbers didn't exactly line up with his numbers, so that's funny. I don't even know what the point of line 23 is. It's just restating a bunch of stuff. Well, I guess it's to add up all the totals. But anyways. Great. So I'm going to... So hopefully it better have saved all my work here, so I'm going to just double check to make sure it's saved. That was funny. So the last thing I typed was the 38,000, right? Yeah, save that part. So we're now going to do something else. I guess we'll just go on to the next part here. Donations. Now I have to figure out what the limitation on the donations is. Well, I can't be until I have actual AGI. AGI is not going to be... So I'm going to skip that one, I think. I'd rather just skip the donation one until I have calculated AGI. And same with the medical expenses, because a ton of stuff on this thing actually requires you to know AGI. Plus, dude, am I even allowed to deduct a single bit of rental expense? Because it doesn't even specify whether he's active. It didn't specify whether he's active. So how are you supposed to know that? Come on. What check numbers did he give us anyways? He better have given us like the tax or something like that. I don't know. Let's see, what did he give us? Wait, is the rental property deduction a for AGI deduction or a from AGI deduction? I think it's for. the rental property deduction will end up counting towards this 181.6 or 690. So actually, it turns out I do need the rental information to get the HEI. But anyway, stop. What parts we have? We have okay, we have to calculate stinking income from investments. Man, like we have to calculate. Okay, but we don't calculate unrealized gains, do we? We don't calculate unrealized gains. We only calculate the ones where they sold them. You only calculate a gain from the real estate sale if they sold the, well, not real estate, the investments. Stop. So we have they sold shares. Well, they sold shares of stock. So now you have to calculate. In order to even you can't even do the adjusted gross income until you have calculated the amount of income that they earned from that / loss. So now we have to figure out how much loss occurred from the sale of those investments. And every single investment, and I don't know, what about the Cardinal Health investment? Are you allowed to sell an investment if it is inherited? No, here's the thing. You can sell. I'm an idiot. It's not the question of whether you can sell, it's the question of what's the basis. Now I have to figure out the stinking basis. Wait, is that from chapter 11? No, that's the disposal. Now I have to figure out the basis of... Is that even from chapter 11? Or some other chapter? I think property dispositions is only covering disposition of some stuff. The heirs basis in the property passing from a descendant to the heirs, the fair market value on the date of the descendant's death. I mean decadent's death. The holding period of the inherited property is deemed to be long-term. So it says that the fair market value is the basis. The fair market value is the basis. Yes, I have to finish this whole thing by tonight. I mean, technically I could probably wait till tomorrow morning to finish it, but he said he was going to post the answer key to this project by tomorrow morning by 7 a.m. So I'm assuming that's kind of like a deadline for me to turn in the assignment. But I'm going to try. I don't want to get up too early tomorrow morning. That was funny. We need to calculate the capital gain or something like that. Like, let's see, what is this? Capital gain. So what is information? So we have now that was funny. Okay, Microsoft. We have price per share. The price per share for Microsoft shares. Great. Actually, no, we don't want that. Price per share. No, what we're going to do is actually we're going to have the original cost we're going to have shares original cost. They bought shares bought originally. Oh my gosh, this is stupid. Oh, they purchased 300 shares. The original cost of the 300 shares was $39,000, and also the date is irrelevant because the only thing that the only reason the date would matter is if it was not long term. So they sold number of shares sold in 2022. They sold 50 shares. Selling price of share. Selling price. The selling price was $12,575. What if we did original cost per share? Selling price per share is so they sold 50 shares for $12,000. That means they sold 50 times 252. That's how math works. Gain per share. The gain per share is equal to the selling price minus the original cost. So therefore, gain slash loss. So we have equals this times the number of shares sold. Really, it's this complicated to do every single one? Target. The number of shares bought originally. 200. The original cost was 12,000. The original cost per share equals this divided by this. The number of shares sold in 2022. Okay, what does it matter what the Cooper Tire one is? Cooper Tire is completely irrelevant because they only sold shares from the other three. So we don't even need to write anything for Cooper Tire. Right? That was funny. $7,200. Okay, they sold 40 shares. The selling price of the 40 shares was $7,200. The selling price per share equals this. The gain per share equals this minus this, and then this equals this times this. So we have a gain and a gain. Now, we don't care about Cooper Tire because they didn't sell any shares of Cooper Tire. The original basis. So here's what we want. We don't care about the father's basis. We care about the fair market value because it's an inheritance. That's what it said in the book. So 1,000 shares. We have Cardinal Health. They have 1,000 shares. The original cost. We're going to state the original cost as... We're going to state the original cost at the fair market value, not the not their father's basis, but the fair market value. $41,000. So the original cost per share is equal to this divided by this. Then we have number of shares sold in 2022. They sold all of their shares. All 1,000 of the shares were sold. So 35,000. Whoops. No. The number of them were sold was 1,000. 35,000 was the selling price. So the selling price per share equals this divided by this. So gain per share equals this minus this. So we have equals this times 1,000. And it should be exactly equal to 41,000 minus 35,000. It is equal to that. So there we go. We have a loss of 6,000 on that, loss and gains of those two on the other ones. And all of these are long-term. They're all long-term gains because they were all bought over a year ago. One was bought in 2018, one was bought in 2015, and one was inherited in 1999. Also, they have a long-term capital loss carryover from the prior tax year that I have to take into account. Dang it. How am I supposed to do that? Oh. Okay, but how much of that loss can you even... What do you do with that? Oh, come on. You know what's hilarious? I think I was supposed to do all this investment stuff on a tax form. Like, instead of an Excel. Oh, that's funny. Which one is it? It was like Schedule C. I already did Schedule C. I'm a dumb. That was fun. They Schedule D. Oh man. I don't even feel like doing this. You know what's hilarious? I did all this math just now, and all this math could have been done on this form. But I did all the math on an Excel spreadsheet instead. But I mean, I should get all the same answer. And since I already did all the math, yeah. Now it's going to suck. Schedule D. Totals for all short-term transactions reported on Form 1099-B. Oh, you know what's funny? So, Professor, are we supposed to do Form 1099-B and 8949? Come on! You're making us fill out every single form that exists. Even though I've literally never done this in my entire life. Gotta be kidding me. What is Form 1099-B anyways? That was funny. These are short-term capital gains and losses. Guess what? Okay, so all this investment income is not going to be counted. Because okay, so this is kind of weird because okay, long-term capital loss carryover is going to be important. So I think that will help me. So I think I should be able to do this. Totals for all long-term. Where's the AA part? Where do you carry over stuff from AA? What on earth? I don't know why this one's blacked off here, or grayed out. Like, what's this? Gain or loss? H. We have 8 A, B. This is so weird. What the heck is this? Form Schedule D. Which one do I need help with? 8A? Like the entire thing. I'm basically just ignoring all the other forms. Please go to the specific lines. Oh, at all this stuff. Look at all this. Can't you just go to the specific lines and give instructions for those? You've got to be kidding me. Wow. Line 21. What am I looking for right now? Please explain section 8. H, column H. So column H is the one that's important, I'm assuming. Oh. Proceeds. Well, this is really dumb, but I might just skip a bunch of this stuff because I already did the calculations in Excel. Because, like, it's so weird when you only sell certain things. I'm just going to report the total gain or total loss here. So all of these are long-term gains / losses. So we're going to have total here. So we have equals sum. All of these are long-term. They're all long-term. We have a total gain. We have a total long-term gain because they sold shares. They sold all these shares. I calculated the total gain to be a certain amount. So our total gain is going to be 4. Also, I have to make sure if there's decimals. There's not. 4875. Watch this. It's not going to let me save. I knew it. But anyways, so I kind of skipped a bunch of steps and only did this number right here. So, so now we have line 8A, and I think the rest of those lines are completely irrelevant. Net long-term gain or loss from partnerships, capital gain distributions. I don't even know what that is. Capital, like line 13, where's that? What the heck? Wait. Mutual fund or real estate investment trust. mutual fund or a real estate investment trust. I don't think that applies because it's bank. These are from bonds. Those are in. If you make money from the bonds, that is not a capital gain distribution. So anyways, go back down. Now I have to find my place again. Please find my place. Please. What page is all the important information on again? It's on page 12. What was I doing? So anyways, this line 13 is not applicable. Line 14. The carryover. We know that it was given to us in the question. Long-term capital loss carryover. But wait a minute. Oh, I thought it said short-term, but no, it's long-term. Anyways, that was funny. Bye.